Hi, I'm Luke Korum with the Puyallup Sumner Chamber of Commerce. I'm with Brian Duthie, who's running for Washington State Representative District 25, Position 2. Hi, Brian.
Good morning.
I'm going to ask you a few questions this morning. The first being, in 2 minutes or less, describe yourself. Touch on any community involvement and why are you running for office?
So first of all, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. I appreciate the opportunity. My name is Brian Duthie, and I'm running for the State House of Representatives, Position 2. So I am a local boy that has grown up in Puyallup most of my life. My first job was actually at the Luke Korum YMCA, the first day that was actually open for business. So my roots here run pretty deep. I went to school all over the place and ended up graduating from Rogers High School in 2001. Community involvement has always been the bedrock and foundation of my life. Being a lifeguard at the YMCA was kind of, the building blocks of that. 9/11 happened, and that triggered something inside of me. And for me, it was a call to action to serve. And so I chose to serve in the Air Force Reserves, where at every opportunity I would just volunteer for the next thing. So it was, who wants to go to Kyrgyzstan? Sure. Don't know where it is. Let's go. Which led me to firefighting, which is my true passion in life, is to serve and to help others. And firefighting was a great way for me to do that. But being a military firefighter is quite different than my current job of being a municipal firefighter. More often, I'm involved with people's darkest times and their true emergencies. And what I've seen is I can't help them all at that level of service. They need someone who truly cares about them, who can help put in at the state level opportunities for them to be more successful, to be healthier versions of themselves. The greatest thing that has ever affected me is my daughter Maya. She's 3 years old, and seeing life through her eyes is an incredible experience. Um, but just being a firefighter, just being a father isn't enough. She needs access, and all kids across the state need access to education, because it doesn't matter whether you're rich or you're poor. If you can have a great educational system, it's not only going to benefit you, it's going to benefit our entire community. Part of my other community involvement is, for the past 9 years, I have been a volunteer camp counselor for youth burn survivors, which selfishly benefits me more than the kids because I get to interact with these kids, but the kids get an opportunity for a week in the summertime to be kids once again. So often they're teased and harassed because of their physical appearance. There's a lot going on emotionally with them as well. So this week provides us an opportunity to do fellowship with them, for them to get to know other kids and build lifelong bonds. We've actually had kids who grew up together in this camp later on get married to each other. So it's an incredible community that we're growing out. Some other passion projects of mine is, every time I was overseas, I was able to do a fundraiser for breast cancer because it's touched my extended family quite a bit. And so I took charge of putting on these events in Iraq and Oman to do 5K runs, because they're fun, to raise money to send back to the States to help find a cure. So overall, that's basically what I'm about, is passion to serve others, integrity first, and the people here in this area deserve someone, first of all, who grew up in the area, who knows the people well, and someone who has a heart of service, who wants to do right by them.
Hmm. What would you say is the most important issue in your race?
Yeah, so doorbelling, I get to hear thousands and thousands of people speak. So far, I've hit over 8,300 homes, so I have a pretty good pulse on the community. And what I identified even before I ran is what I'm also seeing there at the doors, listening to people. There's 3 things. First and foremost, this area, there's a lot of young families. So what I initially touched on is education is definitely the most frequent thing I hear at the doors. And we can provide the funding at the state level. We just need the independent school districts to disperse it appropriately to benefit the educators that we have and also our students. The second most often thing I hear at the doors, especially here in Puyallup, is homelessness. And I deal a lot with homelessness at the ground level in the streets. I mean, there's hundreds of times where at 3 a.m. where it's pouring down rain, I'm with a patient, in the streets that's having difficulty. And there's kind of a three-tiered problem to that. There's the mental health aspect of it. And there is oftentimes some kind of substance that's masking the true problem that's going on, so they need help with that. And then ultimately, once we get past those barriers, there's the necessity to have a transition into affordable and sustainable housing. Clearly, that's a public safety issue. I have a 3-year-old daughter, like I said, and I don't want her to go to the park and pick up a hypodermic needle and accidentally stick herself. So effectively dealing with this health crisis is a benefit to all of us. The third thing around here, if you lived here more than 2 minutes, you know all about the traffic. And it's not just that the traffic is bad, it's how does the traffic affect you in your daily life. If you're trying to run across town to pick up Billy from the YMCA, you don't want to have to wait 45 minutes just to go from one side of the town to the other because traffic is just a nightmare. Then once you get out of the town, well, now you got to deal with 167, 512, I-5, all these different freeways that, quite frankly, we never effectively planned for from the get-go, and now we're scrambling to play catch-up. And so we need real solutions to continue to expand the transportation we have and be a little more thoughtful before we just put in additional units and actually think about the traffic movement from the places from your home to where you work to your community involvement and back.
How specifically would you support the business community?
So growing up in this area, I love our local community, and the best thing that we can do as a community is to support one another. I love small businesses, and what I don't want to see is more companies like Walmart who just want to give people cheap products. I want people here in the community who raise their own families in here to give products that are worthwhile to the community, and for people to want to work for those companies because it's a true investment when you support those companies because it comes right back into our community. It doesn't go off to some other state or some offshore account. So it's important to hear from the business community, like, we need help with this type of solution. We're having problems with these types of fees or this working condition. We want to have 2 employees. How can we help mitigate this to where our employees have protection, but we can fiscally afford to have these employees and continue our business.
Well, thank you for coming down this morning. It was nice meeting you.
Appreciate it.